What's up, YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Giratina in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun me movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section. If you enjoy these videos, if they help you out, drop a like and let's get into it. So for this video, I'll be breaking down Giratina and Origin form Giratina. So I'll do like the normal one and then the Origin one, and so forth, covering different formats and rules and casual and all sorts of stuff. So let's have a look at this Pokemon. It has got some beastly stats. It's got like over 100 base in everything except for speed. It is a Ghost and Dragon type, and it's got the abilities Pressure and Telepathy. So more of an obvious singles ability and an obvious doubles ability. Not to say that Pressure couldn't work in doubles, but you know, you could use that there too. Now, our first set we're going to look at is more of a tank support phasing kind of set. And this is pretty good at doing that because it's so tanky. So, firstly, we've got Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail is a nice move there to phase out the opponent. So, if there's any entry hazards on the field, say Stealth Rock or Spikes and stuff like that, it's good for that sort of stuff, getting like your residual like chip damage against other Pokemon. It also gets Defog, which is really good for removing hazards from the team as well. Obviously, you just have to watch when you're doing that yourself because you know you're going to get rid of everything. So that's a good way to get around any ones that have maybe been set up on your side of the field initially, and then you get rid of them, set yours up with another Pokemon maybe. And then we've got Will-O-Wisp. Now, Will-O-Wisp is actually a really good move on Giratina because not only is it really tanky, you can actually use like Hex along with it. Hex is a pretty good move with Giratina. So Hex is going to be doubling base power on any status moves, and you can couple that with like stuff like Toxic Spikes and things too. It also gets Thunder Wave, so you can make like little combinations and stuff like that, you know, work pretty well. I give this one Pressure because, you know, that's the only ability that can work. This is more of a single set for sure, and I gave it Terra Fairy, which is probably definitely the best defensive Terra type on it because it does cover all of the weaknesses, you know, being a Ghost and Dragon type Pokemon. So that's going to be, you know, overall a pretty good Terra. Even for a sweeping set, that's a pretty good Terra overall. Now, you could mix things up a bit here. If you don't want Defog, you could maybe put Rest on there. I had leftovers on this, so you could do that. You could put Chesto, like Resto Chesto on there, Berry. That could definitely work. If you're worried about getting worn down a bit, I guess you could put Heavy Boots on there if you're definitely playing singles and stuff. That's another good item for it. You could put Citrus Berry on there as well. So there are a couple little like options and moves that you could go about doing that. The EV spread I've got here, this has such good defenses and health. So I tried to split everything up. So we've got max health, and we've got 176 in defense and 80 in special defense Sassy Nature. We don't need to drop any of its other stats except for speed, so it's not going to be outspeeding anything regardless. So we've got really extreme bulk here, and it's going to do its job very well. So that's sort of our first Giratina tank set there, and it's going to be super good at its role. Let's have a look now at a Giratina Origin set. Alright, so Giratina Origin, when you have a look at the stats, right, you look at them and they do change a little bit. So you notice the attack now is 120 compared to the defense, right? So that it's sort of, this is more of an offensive sort of form, I guess you could say. That's the best way to put it. So with this Pokemon, you have to hold the Grisius Core. Now this is going to give it a boost in its Dragon and Ghost types by 1.2 times, right? So it's going to be good to give it those type of moves to give it a boost. Now I've got a couple of ways you could probably run this. You can actually still run this kind of tanky as well, or you can run it like physical or sweeping. Giratina can do a lot of things, so we'll go with more of a Calm Mind sweeper here. So this could definitely work in singles, and it has some, you know, might be able to work in doubles as well. Maybe not so well, but I still feel it could. So we have got Terra type Steel on this one, firstly. Steel is another very good Terra type to run on Giratina, getting around a lot of its weaknesses. and also creating an opportunity to be able to go for Terra Blast against opposing Fairy-type Pokemon, which is good. Draco Meteor, its most powerful Dragon-type move, special on the special side. Shadow Ball, which is good. You could run Hex on there as well if you do have any. Maybe if you want to drop Carmine, you could put Will-O-Wisp or Thunder Wave on there. That's another option. Or if you've got other Pokemon that have, put spreading status or entry hazards like Toxic Spikes on the field, Hex could be better than that situation. So we've got those, and Carmine's going to boost up its special attack and special defense. So its special attack isn't super, it's like incredible, like crazy high, but it's still pretty good. And it's got Levitator's the ability as well, so different abilities. So that can be, somewhat useful, levitating, getting around any ground-type moves and such like that. So this EV spread is max special attack and max speed Tib and nature. I've run that like this. You could run it bulky as well. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. You could definitely run that bulky if that's what you want. But I don't know. I feel like this set is better for support, and this set is better as a sweeper. So that's my opinion. I mean, you can do different things if you like, but I think this is more cut out to be the support, and this is a sweeper because that's what the stats are. Alternatively, you can always do a physical set. Like I have got physical sets as well for Origin, but if you want to do a physical set, you can do exactly the same thing. You just use some, its physical moves and such like that, which I have done in some further sets here, especially for doubles and stuff. But you can use these in single suits, so it could be a special attacker or a physical attacker. Some other terrors that might be useful on there could be poison as well. Poison wouldn't be I'm just trying to think of some other ones that could be working here. So poison is not too bad against any fairy type Pokemon. That could be good. And it actually wouldn't be bad even on this set here, just going back, and I'm swapping back, because that would be immune to Toxic then. And this is great with Terra Poison because it can't be hit by any ground-type Pokemon. So that's excellent too. So that's a really, really good. I don't think it gets any other. I don't think it gets Sludge Bomb. That would be surprising if it did. No, it doesn't. So yeah, so Terra Blast Poison for an attacking move, which would be good against Fairy-type Pokemon. Or it could just be, in general, good for a free setup for Carmine. So that's not too bad either. So that's another way of running Giratina Origin. It can be special or physical. So it does get other options instead of like Carmine and stuff. So that's some more single style set. You could run this one here in doubles, but I've got some ones that are probably a little bit more better optimized for that. So let's have a look at that. All right, so this Giratina set is going to be kind of set up for doubles a little bit more, and it's very, very bulky. So we have got 196 in health, EVs, 156 in defense, and 156 in defense. So straight up all-round bulk there, and sassy nature, so dropping its speed. The reason I gave it a little bit more in special defense is because I've got Will-O-Wisp and I've got Breaking Swipe, but I want to retain a little bit of defensive bulk there so I can tank physical attacks initially before I did do those type of moves. I just thought I'd say that. Same with health. I want to have a little bit more in health still there too. So we have got Terra Normal, which is a good one for Giratina. That is going to get around any ghost type moves aimed at you, which is quite good. Rocky Helmet as sort of an item on there just to punish any Pokemon they're going to hit it with contacting moves. And we've also got Telepathy on this. So Telepathy is basically, it's not going to take any damage from attacks made from its allies at all. So any moves that are going to hit it, it's not going to work. Now, you can absolutely run pressure as well, for sure. But might go over some strategies we could maybe use for Telepathy, right? So that's sort of my build here. We have got Protect, Will-O-Wisp, which works nicely, Hex to double the base power, and Breaking Swipe. So it's a full-on tank, really. Just spreading burns, dropping attacks, doing a bit of damage with Hex, and scouting with Protect. Breaking Swipe's really good because it's got a 100% chance to drop the opponent's attack by one, and that hits both of them as well, which is nice. So any physical Pokemon are going to virtually be shut down by this. Obviously, it might be a bit different for any special types, so with them, you could always still go Will-O-Wisp and then hit them with Hex. So that's another option to go for there as well for doubles. let's have a look at the Origin form now for doubles. Okay, so this set's a little bit more involved in EVs, but essentially it's a physical set. So you remember how I was talking about this calm mindset here, how you can run it as a physical set? You could do this as well for 252 EVs, but I've just done a little bit more involved EVs here to give it some extra bulk, and I'm actually utilizing the EVs spread a little bit better here. So I'll explain that in a sec. So we've got Terra-type Fairy to straight off here. Obviously, we have to have Grisius Core. We got Levitate. Protect Poltergeist is its main sort of physical attacking move outside of, like, you know, Shadow Force. And then we've got Dragon Claw. So on a physical set, you'll see these moves a lot. Now, you'll either see Shadow Sneak on there, which is a pretty nice move, or you'll have, like, a set, like, a utility move. Either Protect or I'd like Destiny Bond on here. Now, as you can see, this is a Trick Room Giratina Origin. So it's got 90 base speed. It is a little bit quick for Trick Room, but it still can serve okay in it. And it's got good bulk too. So we've got 76 in health, just giving us some overall bulk. And then I've got 96 and 84 in special defense. So giving it sort of like almost equal defenses and maxing its attack completely. This set could be nice at doing some damage, and then say you come across something that, I won't be able to fake that, but I can go first under the Trick Room, and then go Destiny Bond and finish them off. So that's another option you could go for there too. You've also got Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak's quite good. It's a priority move, 40 base power, and it's got a good attack stat, so that's going to be hitting pretty hard. So you could do that option, or scrap Destiny Bond and give it Protect. That's always an option you could go for there, as well. If you don't want to run like a slow set under Trick Room or anything like that, you can just go full sweeping set on it. And we'll do that right now too. I'll sort of do both of them. Okay, so instead of having 0 IVs and speed for Giratina, we're going to go with Adamant, and Shadow Sneak, Poltergeist, Declaw, and Protect is going to be nice. And it's going to be going pretty fast. And we're going to be hitting nice and hard with its main sort of stab moves there. So that's definitely a way of using that too. As for Terra, I'd keep the Terra the same. Or you could go Terra Blast in there as well. You could do Terra Fairy or Terra Steel. That could work as well. Protect is just kind of useful to have on there, just to see what's going to happen and things like that. But maybe you could forego that, because it is a ghost type, so it would be immune to other things like Fake Out and such like that. So maybe you could forego that and try and squeeze another, I guess, another move onto there. So that's my double set. I had another set you could try out for doubles with this, so I'm just going to quickly do that right now because I feel like having a go at it. So I did say this Pokemon is actually better at being a support Pokemon, but I did have a good sweeping set I made, and it was more under Trick Room. So instead of Rocky Helmet, we're going to have Eject Pack, and we're going to make use of Draco Meteor, which is going to be its most powerful move. So it's got a lot of health already. We just dumped everything to health and special attack. So then we can sort of go through and give it some other moves that, could be somewhat useful. So I'm going with normal again. So we've got Hyper Voice. And then we've got some other moves which could be useful, say like Shadow Ball. So this is and then we've got status. I would give it something like, you could give it Destiny Bond or Protect. So this is my Trick Room Giratina. So we make use of a Jetpack. So once Draco Meteor is, you got that special attack drop, it'll drop it out, and then what you could do then is you could swap it maybe with a normal type Pokemon or a steel type Pokemon incoming. For like any fairy or ghost moves incoming, or any intimidate Pokemon are going to work well. So giving you some momentum, and then you could always Terra Normal later on for Hyper Voice too. So another way of running Giratina, and then you also got Destiny Bond as well. So that's another way you could run Giratina on more of an offensive one. I just wanted to include that. All right, the next set we got here is a bit more. We got a couple of more fun gimmicky sets here, and then I'll go into some teammates and stuff like that. Some counters. This is the Plane Split Troll set. So he does get the move Curse, which is interesting. And I thought I could make use of that because it's got such a high amount of health. So we've got Curse and Pain Split. So with Pain Split, it works better when you don't have a lot of health. So this does have a lot of health. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it everything in defense and everything in special defense. And we're going to give it Calm Nature. So boosting up its special defense even more there. We've got Hex and Will-O-Wisp as well. So we're making it, doing damage to Hex. And we're also doing damage to Curse as well. And then after we get hit by an attack and we get a Curse, and then we can go for Pain Split and get our health back and do damage to the opponent. So the opponent would be forced to sort of swap. So then if you sort of coupled this with, say, something with Toxic Spikes or like a Skarmory or a Toxapex, for example, there's a lot of Pokemon that could do those roles. Then you could get extra Stealth Rock damage, Spikes damage, Toxic Spikes damage, and then you could go for a Pain Split on the incoming Pokemon, or you could go for another Curse. So, bit of an evil set here. Item is going to be red card, so we get that first initial hit, swapping them out. It might not be a favorable matchup coming in for the opponent, and you might be able to get a Pain Split or Curse or a Burn on them. So, bit of fun set there with Giratina, if you want to give it a shot. Terra Normal, I gave that one, so it's only weak to fighting types. Let's have a look now at our PIMPNITE special here on the Giratina. This is pure scum. So we got max health and we got max speed, Timid Nature. So I wanted to make one that would just be annoying to verse, right? So we got Terra Fairy, we got Thunder Wave and Will-O-Wisp. So we got flinching, Hex damage at the same time. It's not going to be hitting overly hard, but it's going to be doing like flinches, paralyzes, burns, and Hex, and everything like that in between. And I would have given it a Bright Powder, but I need the Grissier score on there, so I would have given it that, if I could. I mean, you could, I guess you could if you gave it normal Giratina. So you could try that set. But Terra Fairy as the Terra there, and some lots of fun with flinching and paralysis. Let's have a look at some teammates encounters and other thoughts for Giratina now. This Pokemon it's I don't know. I feel like it's probably a bit outclassed by other ones, so that's why it's not used quite as much. But it still is reasonably decent for sure. I mean those stats are pretty good. So I would say if you're doing like singles and stuff. I was going to mention Ting Lu, because that'd be great for as a Stealth Rock Pokemon. So you could have Stealth Rock on there and Whirlwind and stuff. I've done a Ting Lu guide already. I won't go too much into it. So that's going to be useful. And we also sort of talked about Skarmory, Spikes user, and we also talked about Toxapex as well. So they could be... Toxapex. Sorry, I can't spell today. And they could be sort of good with that Dragon Tail set, or just in general, it likes chip damage, and then you could have something to sort of like cover it too, like its weaknesses. You could have like a Steel type Pokemon, maybe Goldingo wouldn't be too bad there as well, getting rid of any of those Fairy type Pokemon, and maybe you could even couple that with. I was thinking for doubles, Goldingo and Giratina Origin, because, that could cover the weakness for ground, and then that could cover the Fairy type weakness. So that could be an interesting partner there too. I mean, Goldingo works with so many Pokemon, right? More counters, I would say an easy counter would be Zacian Terra Fairy. That would just absolutely destroy Giratina, unless Giratina got a burn off against it. Another good counter is like Qiao and Pow. Any of these like powerful physical attackers, Sword of Ruin and Sword Dance will just absolutely like dominate it. And then like, Urshifu, I was gonna say Urshifu. Like Single Strike. Yeah, Single Strike would definitely upset that as well with its powerful like Wicked Blow crits and things like that. So there's lots of other like counters and stuff around that, but virtually any Ghost Fairy kind of stuff. That's why Terra Fairy is quite good, because it gets around a lot of those nasty counters that this Pokemon actually has. Looking at some of its moves here, I think they learn the same thing. So you've got a Calm Mindset. I went over that. Defogger, Destiny Bond, Pain Split. We sort of went over that. It does get Roar as well, so you might be able to use Roar on this set here. Maybe you had, instead of Dragon Tail, you could put Roar on there. That is another option if you're worried about like a Fairy type coming in. As I said, it gets Thunderwave and Will-O-Wisp Hex, which is really cool. It does get Gravity too, so if you've got a Gravity team, you might be able to slot that on there, like a bulky Gravity Pokemon. I went over a Destiny Bomb that might be able to work well on like Trick Room sets and stuff like that. It does have, obviously it's got a Shadow Force, which is a powerful move. You might be able to use like Power Herb on there. Power Herb, Shadow Force, and it doesn't have much to do after that. The only advantage would be maybe not getting hit hard by knockoff, but that's kind of gimmicky. So, yeah, you might be able to use that. And then we had like Body Slam, not really that useful. It did have Dual Wing Beat. Earthquake was not bad for hitting, for a physical set. That's not bad for hitting any Steel type Pokemon. It also had Iron Head as well for any Fairy type, so you could definitely give that like Earthquake, Iron Head, Declaw, and maybe Poltergeist. That could work as a physical set. It has stuff like Stone Edge isn't bad for when you come across Pokemon like Ho-Oh. Otherwise, Ho-Oh would quite counter you as well, and it might burn you with Sacred Fire, so Stone Edge is pretty good for that. Just trying to think of things off the top of my head here. Does it get Ancient Power? I used to run this really, really cool set back in the day. I'm sort of reminiscing a bit, but I used to have like Ancient Power. I had Silver. It used to have. I know it doesn't get Silverwind. Actually, Silverwind's not even in the game anymore. Like I had this like Omni boosting set, which was absolute. And then I had Ominous Wind as well. Like it was crazy, but it's never going to be back in the game. But it was like absolutely insane. Then I gave it like a Dragon type move or something like that. So that was fun, but that's not around anymore. It's more gimmicky stuff. You could run Assault Vest on Giratina with all attacking moves if you wanted to as well, but it would stop it using a lot of its good support moves that it gets. Just thought I'd mention that. Yeah, and it does get Icy Wind, which could be useful for doubles, but yeah, there are probably some other things that it could use over that for sure. But that's pretty much it for Giratina. Giratina is a pretty cool Pokemon. Very, very tanky. So, very, very tanky Pokemon. Even the Origin form is very, very tanky too. I think it could definitely carve a place on any team at being a great support Pokemon and dishing out some damage. It's not a real huge hard hitter. So, maybe more of a bulky support Pokemon to your team could work rather nicely. And with pressure and telepathy, you might be able to get some strategies going with that. Probably don't use Earthquake though. I mean Explosion. Anyway, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the Giratina guide. Let me know if you want to see any other Pokemon guides. We're sort of just getting through the legendaries and mythicals and stuff like that, and then I'll go on to all the other Pokemon. Alright, peace out everyone.